Continue from the ones in class over here. And I believe we were here. So I'll finish this up. So over here, negative 2 and 17 is 15, plus negative 12. ¿Quién va a ganar? Los positivos. So 3. This one, they're friends, right? So we get negative 66 plus negative 39. They're both negatives, so the answer is going to be negative. So it's going to be 5, 15, negative 105. 8 and negative 12 is negative 4. Plus 15, let's do that. Negative 4 plus 15 is more positives, right? So it's going to be 11. And then finally 11 plus negative 13. ¿Quién gana? Los negativos. So we get negative 2. All right, so let's take these two first, right? Negative 23 and negative 18 is going to be negative 41. Negative 41 plus, let me write this whole sentence down. So now we do these two. Negative 41 plus 41 is 0. And 0 plus negative 17 is just negative 17. Nada más. This one we have to substitute. So 3 plus, and what's A? A is negative 9. So let me change A for negative 9. Who wins? The negatives. Negative 6. B. B is negative 12. So negative 12, let me put in parentheses, plus 8. Friends? No. So negative 4. Negative 6 plus C. What is C? C is 8. ¿Quién gana? That's positives. So just 2. Here's the absolute value. So we have to substitute. So it's absolute value of negative 9 plus B, which is negative 12. Well, what's the absolute value of negative 9? So how far is negative 9? What's the distance from negative 9 to 0? So the absolute value of negative 9 is just 9. Plus negative 12. ¿Quién gana? Los negativos. So negative 3. Absolute value of A, which is negative 9, plus absolute value of C, which is 8. Absolute value of negative 9 is 9. Absolute value of 8 is just 8. What's negative 9 plus 8? So amigos? No, not friends. So negative 1. B plus C. B is so inside, so we're going to put negative 12 plus C, which is 8. And then take the absolute value. So let me continue here. So this is going to be, what's negative 12 plus 8? Negative 12 plus 8, más negativos, no? So it's negative 4. And what's the absolute value of negative 4? It's just 4. All right, and then let's move on. So we got to do that. And then we're going to go to subtracting integers. Can we do subtracting integers? I'm just curious. I know we're going to do multiplying integers, so give me a second. Right, and I only asked you to do the multiplication. Second, let me find it. So, sorry. We did that. Subtracting integers. So we did the, okay, I see. We did that, small page. And the multiplying integers, I asked you to do just the multiplication, which is actually this page. So I asked you to do this one. Okay. So, sorry about that. Now, if you want to put this up there, you can to help you. Right, sorry, negative. So negative times a positive, and negative times a positive is a negative, and 2 times 3 is 6. Positive times a negative is negative, and that's 9. Negative times a negative, positive. 4 times 8 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 7 is a positive times a positive, and that we already know. Negative times a negative. The signs are the same. It's positive, right? So this is 72. Different. One is negative, one is positive. That's 132. Negative. Positive times a negative. Again, negative. Negative and negative. Negative called negative is a positive. That's 91. Negative times a positive times a negative. So this is, well, if you do negative 5, well, let's do this. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And then negative 10 times negative 7, negative times a negative gives you a positive. So that's just 70. 10 to the second power is negative 10. Remember, everything is raised to the second power. So 10 times negative 10. And negative times a negative is a positive. So that gives you 100. Positive, well, 6 times 8 is 48. Times negative 3. 48 times negative 3. Ugh. Well, positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 8 is 24. This is going to give us 144. Negative 4 to the third power. Remember what that is. It's negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16 positive. And then we have to multiply, right? This is negative times a negative is positive. And then times negative 4. The positive times a negative, which is give me negative 64. Negative 9 to the second power is negative 9 times negative 9. It's a negative times a negative, which is 81. This one's a negative times a negative times a negative. So this is going to be, well, negative 1 times negative 3 is 3. Right? Negative times a negative is positive, and 1 times 3 is 3. And then times negative 4. Now it's a positive times a negative, right? Positive times a negative, which is going to give me a negative 12. Negative 10 to the third power is negative 10 times negative 10 times negative 10. Negative times a negative is a positive. 10 times 10 is 100. Right? This was supposed to be metal. And then times negative 10. Well, positive times a negative is a negative, and 100 times 10 is 1,000. And the last one over here, negative 3 times negative 4 is 12. Right? Negativo con negativo is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Sorry, negative is positive. 3 times 4 is 12. And now 12 times negative 7. Positive times a negative is a negative. Okay. So, and then I think that looks like it, but I'm going to go back to the subtraction just because, just in case. I'm going to go back to the subtraction page. Okay. Which is this one right here. And I'm going to, so subtraction, we want to change it to addition, right? So again, there's the line there, right? So negative 3 stays. Subtraction becomes addition, and 4, opposite of 4, becomes negative 4. Negative plus a negative, right? They're friends, so it's negative 7. 5 minus negative 2, 5. Subtraction becomes positive, and the opposite of negative 2 is 2. That's easy enough. 7. Negative 10 minus 8, negative 10 stays. Subtraction becomes positive, and 8 becomes negative 8. And that gives us negative 18, right? So, amigos. Negative 15 plus opposite of negative 12 is 12. ¿Quién gana los negativos? Porque tienen 3 más. Negative 23, oops, negative 23 plus opposite of negative 28 is 28. ¿Quién gana? Positive, are they friends? No, so the answer is 5. 16 minus 9, you don't really have to change this to 7, but if you still want to change it, 16 plus and negative 9, that gives us 7. 9 minus 16, 9. Subtraction becomes addition, and the second atom becomes the opposite. And that gives us negativos, no? 7. Negative 21 plus negative 16, right? And we're going to get negative and a negative plus a negative. So, amigos, entonces negative 37. 28 plus negative 37. And gonna those negatives, right, and our friends. And we're going to get 9, I think. Negative 9. Negative 34 stays, subtraction becomes addition, and negative 46 becomes positive 46. Gengana, positive, so 46 minus 34, 12, positive 12. 65 plus 6, right? Subtraction becomes addition, the opposite of negative 6 is 6, and this becomes 71. There's a little bit different. So 19, let's take the absolute value first. 19 minus, what's the absolute value of 29? 29. And then now we can change it. So 19 plus negative 29. Kingana, all those negatives, right? And that becomes negative 10. We have a little bit more. I'll do a little bit more. So here you have to be super, super careful. Super careful. So a is negative 7, so it's negative 7 minus 8, right? We got to change, right? So now negative 7 plus negative 8, right? And that gives us negative 15, so amigos. 20 minus b, and b is negative 3. So it becomes 20 plus, opposite of negative 3 is 3. We get 23. A minus c, well, a is negative 7 minus c, which is 5, so we can write it like that. Stays the same, the subtraction becomes addition, and the 5 becomes negative 5. Negative 7 plus negative 5 is negative. C minus b, c is 5, minus, and b is negative 3, so that's what it looks like. 5, subtraction becomes addition, negative 3 becomes 3, and we get simply 8. Easy. B minus A minus C. So B is negative 3, put in parentheses, minus A, which is negative 7, put in parentheses, and minus C, which is positive. Let's do these two first, these two here. Negative 3 plus, right? Subtraction becomes addition, and negative 7 becomes 7. So negative 3 plus 7, ¿quién gana los positivos, right? Are they friends? No, so it becomes 4. Now let me bring that minus 5 here. 4 minus 5. So more 4 minus 5, we can change it again. The 4. Subtraction becomes addition, and 5 becomes negative 5. ¿Quién gana los negativos? And negative 1. C, what's C? C is 5 minus B, which is negative 3, minus A, which is negative 7. Okay. Negative. So let's do these two first. 5 stays, subtraction becomes addition, negative 3 becomes positive 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. Minus negative 7, right? Don't forget that. So again, we're going to change it. 8, subtraction becomes addition, and negative 7, the opposite, becomes 7. 8 plus 7 is positive plus a positive, so we're just moving right on the number line, and that gives us 15. I think that's all, and everything else I think we finished in class. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go back to 1.3. Go back a little bit to one section there. Let me just go to that section. That was at the bottom here. I don't think we did. Did we do this? I think we did this. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. Oh, maybe the ones at the bottom. So I'll do that. So A is 3. So absolute value of 3 plus 5. What's the absolute value of 3? Absolute value of 3 is 3 plus 5. Call 8. B, B is 8, so I'm going to put an 8 over here. Absolute value of 2. So what is the absolute value of 8? 8. Absolute value of 8 is just 8 minus 2. Now that's 6. This says 2 times the absolute value of C plus B. So 2, let's see, negative 5. That's B, which is 8. So what's the absolute value of negative 5? So let's change that. So 2 times, absolute value of negative 5 is 5. Right? This was it. Change it to 5 plus 8. Multiplication comes before addition, so 2 times 5 is 10. And then plus 8, we get 18. A, which is 3, plus absolute value of 3. Well, 3 stays. What's the absolute value of 3? Well, 3 is 3 units away from 0, so that's also 3. 3 plus 3, 6. This one, 3 times the absolute, sorry, 3 times 8, and then take the absolute value. Well, what's 3 times 8? 3 times 8 is 24. And what's the absolute value of 24? It's just 24. This one is A, which is 3 plus 16. Let's take the absolute value. So let's add them first, sorry. 3 plus 16 is 19. And now, what's the absolute value of 19? It's just 19. Okay, I think that's it. All right.